What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Chris from the C4 Event Group, and I got my buddy Mike here.
What's up, man? I'm Mike from MVP.
The MVP himself.
DJ's Corner.
So we are putting this out once again. It was a little like, I guess we're gonna call it like a comeback to the trying to keep wedding traditions alive.
Yeah.
We don't want to come off like we're 100 years old and we're obsolete, but you know. It's very, there needs to be some traditions left in a wedding celebration.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate, the feedback on the post was actually, it was awesome. Like other DJs chimed in, which is always great. We don't really get to talk to them a lot, so it's good to get their feel. I think my main point behind that part of the podcast was basically that it's our job to guide the client, and I think that what's happening a lot nowadays is that the brides and grooms are going into these venues and the first information they receive is from the venue. So when the venue is the one telling you how to run your event instead of the entertainment telling you how to run your event, it just becomes like, oh yeah, we're not going to do this and we're not going to do that and we don't do this anymore and most brides are not doing that. And because most brides aren't doing it, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing it. In my eyes, I don't know how you feel about that. How you feel about that?
I'm gonna automatically jump into the crowd on this since we got a ton of responses from that, and this wasn't even supposed to go down like this, so I'm just gonna hit everybody with it. Why are venues leaving 2-hour dance sets at the end of a party? What is the mathematical equation for that?
Disaster, in my eyes.
Yes. So the DJs that are going to rebuttal and jump in, I could crush a 2-hour dance set. I could crush a 3-hour set. 5 hours, no opener. Okay, cool. It's a wedding. We're not, for the Jersey guys, you're not at DJs in Belmar, Headliner, wherever else people go now. Mm-hmm. You're not there. There is no energy with a younger crowd now. There's no new music. Everything's a remix. You know what I'm saying? I got a ton of jokes I could put up, but I'm going to put all the jokes aside. You're planning a once-in-a-lifetime special event, correct? Yeah. That's what it goes by. It's a wedding. How and why are, and I have so many friends that run and own venues. I'm not attacking anyone, but when did this become a thing? We're going to leave you the last 2 hours.
Well, this is what we were touched on and what we posted last week about the doing less at the event. So to expand on that and really set the stage for where that reel came from is that, we're not doing pasta courses anymore. We're not doing cake anymore. Some people don't do V hours. So, when you sit down with the venue and the venue tells you, oh, we do pasta and cocktail hour now, so we don't have to stop. There's more time to dance. And then you don't have to do cake. There's more time to dance. Well, you're leaving the DJ with 4 hours of DJing and no stoppage. And there's no way to reset.
There's no resetting.
And you're going from whatever genre of music you're playing to another genre of music, and you're excommunicating people, and there's no show, and it's becoming just like you said, a 2.5 hour set. I mean, it just happened to me.
And I don't mean to cut you off. I would like to know how, when, where, or why. Was there a wedding seminar that I wasn't invited to that everyone voted in on this? Because if that's what it was, I missed that. I want to be at the next one.
Yeah.
Truly, this is not a joke. I want to know how this became a thing.
I don't know how we got it. I don't know if it's photographers and videographers that got it. Okay, wait, I will add to something with photography and videography. And again, these are just things that we discuss on an every week basis. This is not pertaining to any one person individually ever or a company. It's just when we sit and have dinner, when we're served dinner at these venues, this is what photographers, videographers, and DJs talk about. We never see each other, so that's when we talk. The thing is back in the day, videographers and photographers used to work the entire day, right? It used to be a 15-hour day for them, and they would always, say, oh, we work all day. Yes, 100%. This is the life we signed up for. I totally get it. But now they work on 10 hours. So when you work on 10 hours, most companies start at 10 hours, and they charge you additionally if they're going to keep you there. So if you're working on a 10-hour schedule and you're starting at 12 o'clock, you're done at 10, and the wedding's not done till 12. So there's 2 hours of no video or no photography there for some companies.
Yeah,
and everything's got to get done before they leave, Chris. So obviously, if we're not, if they're not doing cake, they leave right after formalities sometimes.
Awesome. So then this needs to be brought to the attention, that's what videographers and photographers need to bring to their bride and grooms, because we're setting other vendors up for failure.
I mean, you're staging cakes during cocktail hour, and most of the photography is done before the wedding even starts. So, I mean, it's a photo shoot. It's not a wedding, it's not a wedding service anymore. It's we can set you up in front of dope trees and take awesome artistic pictures. And that stuff is great. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's awesome. It's just, there's no more wedding things going on. And it just becomes, okay, this just happened to me on Saturday. Did we 7 to 8 cocktail, 8:30 first course, 9:15 main course. Okay, Mike, it's your show. 12 o'clock party's over. Oh, it's my show. Oh, great.
For 3 hours.
It's my show. So, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Every DJ loves to play, but it's nice to have some organization or a stop to be like, okay, this show, like the cake is a show. Maybe you have something cool that you do for the cake. You know what I'm saying? Maybe when you're cutting the cake, you do some sort of little thing that you do. I don't know, whatever it is, kiss here, whatever the case is. I don't know what you do. Maybe there's a funny song you play. I have no idea. The thing is like when you're not getting that stoppage, you're losing that show. You're losing the advertisement for your company. Think about it. All the people that are at that job, they're not seeing you on the microphone because you're DJing for 2.5 hours. Yeah, you could get on the mic and be like, everybody put your hands up. Okay, great. Now I'm getting less of that. We don't want the rah-rah. We don't want the bar mitzvah MC.
Right, I've been getting
totally
that
since
day one.
Totally get it.
People didn't want that.
So,
no, that's a tough call because I don't want any videographers or photographers thinking that you're gunning at them. I just want to know when this became a thing. I don't. There's no way I was out of the loop on it. So I'm just I want to know when this became the 2 hours, 3 hour dance set thing.
I mean, the hardest part of doing these type of podcasts are to not sound like we're complaining. We're not. We're just discussing what goes on a week by week basis. I'm sure if we opened up the mic to 25 DJs, 25 of them would say the same thing, or they would have other things that bother them or come up week to week. So it's not really directed at anything. I think it's just the industry in general. Like, you guys pay a lot of money to get married at these venues. You're there for 5-6 hours and there's nothing going on. It's a cocktail hour, and then it's or even the formalities being jammed into the front. When did that start? Like, I know
it's a New York, New Jersey thing.
I think it's been a Jersey thing. In New York, in Brooklyn, we never did that. Jersey started doing it, and it became a little, oh yeah, we get it all done so we have more time to party. Okay, so now we're jamming everything in as soon as the intro's done. Yep. You just had an hour and a half cocktail, but we're gonna sit, like, I do dance sets after intro. I never ever would do that, Chris. I don't know if you do that. I was always against that. Mm-hmm. But when you have an hour and a half cocktail, I'm like, okay, let's party a little bit.
Well, so here it goes, and this is where it's going to go back to the first part of this whole chat. 20 years ago, now I'm putting myself in the old man category, and it comes with the territory. 20 years ago, there was a lot more energy than there was now. I don't care. DJs, you can come at me aggressively. I'm going to tell you 20 years ago, there was a lot more energy at events than there is now. Guests are disrespectful. People are disrespectful. They're miserable. And I see it every week. Every week. Or even like, I love communion parties. Like, I love it. Not to take it off wedding talk. When you're at a communion party, you could tell when the energy's there. Like, there's some parents that are ready to rock. You guys got the kids. We'll be at the bar. We're going to be rocking. We're going to play musical chairs. Cool, no doubt. But 20 years ago at a wedding, the energy was different than it was now. And we were on a tight timeline 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Pasta. Shut it down.
Yeah.
I don't want to name names. I remember a guy used to come and shut the breaker off on the sound. If you were dancing, because he wanted to come out with his pasta course or main or salad.
What about intermezzo?
Remember
intermezzo?
Shut the breaker off. You're like, boo. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Guess that means everybody got to take a seat. My man didn't care. He was serving his food.
Yep.
So, once again, 20 years ago, the energy was completely different at parties. I wish it would, history would repeat itself. But that's that.
I just like with the courses, like, I know I sound like a little bit like corny because it's like, oh, like you want them to sit for a course. I don't want anybody to sit for a course, and I won't even, like, I've had conversations with my brides where it's like, listen, if the dance floor is blasting off, I'm not stopping for cake. I'm not. Like if I come up to you and I'm like, hey, do you want to stop? And you're like, no, I'm like, well, then I'm not stopping. It's your party. It's your wedding. It's not mine. I'm here to do whatever you want to do.
And I'm going to interject and tell you I've done that 150,000 times.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
If the energy's there,
I'm not stopping it.
You're not stopping.
We're going balls to the wall, then we're not stopping. You guys could go take a couple of pictures, come back. We'll be here waiting for you on the dance floor.
But for people who are going to come back at the comment section of this, you're rebuttaling what you said. A wedding tradition's a wedding tradition. If your energy's not there, then you need to stop this party, regroup, use that to reset.
Right.
You have to use it to reset.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to stop for 5 minutes and go into a different genre of music that you want to transition without having to go from your house music to Run Around Sue and Shout if you need to get that in for a family member or whatever the case is. And again, those are listen, nobody wants to hear Run Around Sue and Shout every single weekend, 3 times a weekend. We don't want to hear it. But the thing is like, those are songs that bring people together. So that's why we play them. They bring people together. How many times have you heard Shout? 9 million times. Nobody, as DJs, we don't want to hear that song, but that brings people together.
You're right.
That's all that, and that's our job. Our job as a DJ is for people to party together.